Alright, let's make this one quick. So, well, quick as in, like, just on that 3-minute mark, because I do still want to stop it. I'm trying to force it to be short. But that's not the point. Anyways, today was, it was alright. I got a lot more sleep than I had the day before, but I was still super tired in the morning. I was very grateful that my engineering class doesn't start for a couple hours. The engineering, lectures are really easy. Most of what I've seen so far is, groups or organizations or, extensions of the school or local companies will come in and they'll talk about the stuff that they do in relation to biological engineering. It's almost like just kind of the hype for the stuff you can do. And the labs are just the really hard part, at least for me. So it was really easy, and even though I nodded off a couple of times, I still understood most of it, and I was totally fine there. After that, an hour and a half later, I had, a meet together. They were supposed to be weekly. I missed last week's, but they're little meetings for people who are in Connexons, just a review of, hey, how are you doing? Do you have any questions? Any stuff that you're frustrated with? One guy brought up something that I had been thinking about, but I haven't had to really deal with yet, which is that there is, a limit to the amount of things you can print out before they start charging you. And a lot of, lab classes will want you to, print out papers ahead of time to fill out your notes on, or to have as a reference guide. And so your, baseline of paper that you can use before they start charging you gets used up really fast. But I haven't had to encounter that very much yet, especially with the early labs, because they aren't super strict on you, having the printouts there, especially since you don't actually submit them half the time. You just have to have the notes written down on some online format or the other. Anyways, I stopped by the market to have lunch again. It's got a better selection and it's a little bit funner to hang out in just because it's so nicely decorated. And I ended up sitting at one of the larger tables by myself. One guy sat down there and then another guy sat down, and he was this very curious, talkative guy who really liked having really long and confusing conversations about just random neat stuff. So I told him I was in biological engineering, and so we went on this really long talk about the ethics of genetics and what you could theoretically modify. And, it was pretty fun. I came back, I burned a few hours doing homework, then I had to go to work. Work was okay, nothing particularly interesting about this shift. So yeah, nothing to point out there. And I got back and I still have some homework to do. But I needed to take a break and record, not only because it's late, but because Paul's already finished his homework, and so he's playing video games. And when he's playing video games, he'll monologue to himself, and it's very distracting. So, I'll get that figured out. There was a couple other places that I've considered for doing studying and homework and whatnot. There's whatever nature conservation building down there with the taxidermy in it that I saw the first time I visited. And it is a good study spot, but everyone else also knows that, and so it's usually really busy. So that hasn't been a great spot. But I'll either figure out some other location that works really well, or just get some other kind of arrangement that works. I can't think of anything else to talk about, and I'm a minute longer than I thought I would be. So I will call it there and say, that was today. I wish you all goodbye and a lovely night. I love you.